Is that when a government is formed, it is formed on behalf of the people of Kenya to serve all the people of Kenya. And therefore, anybody within the boundaries of the country who is qualified and a Kenyan can serve in any position. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, those of us who are fundis believe in the broad-based government, and not just the broad-based government because it brings us together, but because it also harnesses and creates synergy of expertise from across the political divide. That you do not need to discriminate against anybody on the basis of where they come from. You've had Mr. Cyril Oaguda Odede is Jasuna, somebody from Suna. And if for the first time since independence, we have a Jasuna as a principal secretary, that tells you then the country is moving in the right direction, Honorable Speaker. I look forward also to the day very soon. I know we have had principal secretaries from Kikuyu constituency. But not from Gashie. And also some from Gashie in Kiambu. And I look forward to a time in the near future where we'll have a cabinet secretary from Gashie, yes. Honorable Speaker, in Kiamba constituency, yes. Of Kiambu County. But Honorable Speaker, allow me also to speak to the two state departments that have been created, or rather this new one on the State Department of Public Investments and Asset Management. Honorable Speaker, and to speak to Mr. Odede and tell him he is coming into a State Department where he is being appointed at the right time. And I say at the right time, Honorable Speaker, because this country is coming from a backdrop where we are implementing IMF-led reforms that were more tax-based. Honorable Speaker, following the events of last year, we have to consciously now move away from tax-based reforms in the country, Honorable Speaker, and balance this with investments, and more so investments where you can be able to raise money to carry out public investments without necessarily going back to tax Kenyans. And the Public-Private Partnership Act that we enacted in this House, Honorable Speaker, almost 3 years ago, has existed in our books, but we have been extremely slow in rolling out public-private partnerships in this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, where you come from in Gilgil, you know on a Friday and a long weekend like this one, people take hours to get to Nakuru, a distance of less than 200 kilometers. That should take you less than an hour.
Some spend there, actually.
Yeah, people have slept on the road between Kinale and Gilgil. Those going to the western parts of Kenya over Christmas, some had to turn away and come back to Nairobi because they couldn't make it. Those who could not afford to fly or use the train. And yet they had planned to travel up country in a way that will be able to attract even tourists who are coming for conferencing, not just getting to the game reserves, Honorable Speaker. Because, let me not use what I was going to use, but our neighboring countries, Honorable Speaker, and allow me to give the example of Rwanda.
The bus park.
I hear the minority leader saying it looks like a bus park, like Machakos County bus park. Not Machakos County, but the Machakos Country bus station in Nairobi. And I say it is an embarrassment, Honorable Speaker, because for those who have traveled out of this country, you have seen the level of investments in, even within our region, in international airports. Rwanda, Tanzania, countries that we are priding ourselves that we are ahead of them, have been overtaking us with public investments. I was shocked, Honorable Speaker, the last time I traveled to Istanbul. What used to be Atatürk Airport, I was told has been decommissioned, and they have built a brand new airport within a period of 2 years.
Under PPP.
Under PPP, by a Turkish company. And I want to tell you, Honorable Speaker, it is possible even here to build brand new international airports, not just JKIA. It is possible to have an international airport in the Mara, to have tourists come from their home countries and fly direct into the Mara, or to Samburu County. I see the Honorable Asuda smiling broadly when she hears the Mara and Samburu, because she knows the potential that is there in Samburu, in the Mara, can be unlocked by us being able to take tourists directly there. But we will not be able to do this if we depend on taxes and raising taxes from Kenyans to be able to implement these public investments. But Cyril and the officers at the National Treasury who will now come into this new State Department have that opportunity to unlock that potential for us. I want to encourage him. Do not get into the National Treasury and get sucked into the ordinary National Treasury bureaucracy that we have seen over the years. Because there are people who have served in this PPP directorate over the years but have not been able to implement a single PPP project. We have been speaking about privatization of our sugar companies, Honorable Speaker. This is the opportunity to unlock the huge potential in Western Kenya and other parts of Nyanza and the coast that are doing sugarcane farming using public-private partnerships and privatization of these companies. This is the work that is very well cut out for Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede. For Boniface Makoha, in the State Department of Economic Planning, this is where Ng-Cdf that we are speaking about resides, in this State Department of Economic Planning. Honorable Speaker, I have seen a former Speaker of this House tweeting, saying that the Ng-Cdf is illegal. And let me read, Honorable Speaker, because, you know, some of these things are very shameful and embarrassing. And, you know, I would hate to spend time here to castigate a former Speaker, because you're also there, Madam Speaker, as a Speaker today. But when you say Ng-Cdf is a corrupt, illegal, and unconstitutional slush fund to unjustly enrich the MPs, their families and cronies, and should therefore be scrapped, yet you have served in this House as a Speaker, presiding over 349 members of that House, and also strongly defended that fund. Well, you have served in this House, Honorable Speaker. But today, because you are annoyed, because we have just tabled and given notice of motion to appoint a member of Parliament of Mbere North as the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, if you are annoyed with that, please spare the rest of the country your anger, spare the rest of the country your bile. If you sat here as a Speaker for 10 years and justify the existence of Ng-Cdf, but simply because today you are not a Cabinet Secretary and your member of Parliament has been promoted as a Cabinet Secretary, now you start taking your bile to the rest of the country and the rest of the House. I mean, it's embarrassing, it's shameful, it's uncalled for, and I would advise the culprits to cool down, relax. There is life beyond public service. Yes. The day any one of us is not a member of Parliament here, or you are not in a position as a Cabinet Secretary or as a Speaker, Honorable Speaker, or even as a Chief, there is life beyond that. You can graze your goats, you can graze your cattle, you can rear your pigs like me. Yeah. Those who are doing poultry, like William Ruto, can also do poultry. And they will all be happy. Honorable Speaker, you do not have to be bitter with your son. You know, from one end of the mouth, you seem to be speaking for your son, who is, I think, 50 years old. From the other end of the mouth, you are so bitter with another son of yours from Mbere North who has been appointed as a Cabinet Secretary that you are now deriding the entire House and a system of Ng-Cdf that has worked for the last almost 25 years. Honorable Speaker, this affront against Ng-Cdf, Dr. Boniface Makoha must ensure that Ng-Cdf not only continues to exist, but is well resourced. Because Ng-Cdf is not for members of Parliament. I can very well do my representation, my oversight, and my legislative work as a member of Parliament without Ng-Cdf. But I know there are children in Kikuyu constituency where I come from who would not otherwise be in school today, why not for Ng-Cdf? I know there are children from Kanyanjara Primary School when I was elected a member of parliament in 2013, who had mud walled and timber classrooms in their schools that had no floors. Children in Kikuyu today pride themselves that they're in better public schools than academies, private academies, because of investments done by Ng-Cdf. And it is not because of their member of parliament. It is because Ng-Cdf, the act, gave very clear guidelines as to how procurement is done, how projects are implemented, using an independent Ng-Cdf committee elected at the local level with representation, having project implementation committees at the local level. Honorable Speaker, how I wish, as we implement devolution, the last 10 years of devolution, Honorable Speaker, how I wish Kenyans would see the work of devolution as they see the work of Ng-Cdf at their localities, Honorable Speaker. How I wish that the County Government's Act was as elaborate as the Ng-Cdf Act is elaborate. And therefore, I want to encourage also Dr. Boniface Makoha to serve Kenyans with diligence, to look at the workings of Ng-Cdf and even see how we can further improve this Ng-Cdf and propose amendments for us to be able to legislate so that Ng-Cdf continues to serve the people of Kenya as it has served them over the past 20 years, Honorable Speaker. And with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support and wish Mr. Cyril Wagunda Odede and Dr. Boniface Makoha all the best in their service to the nation, and go forth, serve the people of Kenya.
Very well. Dr. Oundo.